I've been staring at this render for nearly 3 hours, and I have to be honest, I hate it. But maybe I can save it.
I've always been obsessed with the idea of the phone booths in the Matrix, because they weren't just phones, they were portals, the only real way to exit the simulation and wake up in reality. They represented a clear boundary. You were either online or you were free. But looking around today, that boundary's gone. We carry the simulation around in our pockets. You can't just hang up and walk away. Well, you can, but our lives are so inextricably connected to it that it almost feels impossible. So for this project, I want to try and reclaim that fantasy. I want to build a visual that captures that specific moment of escape.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I don't want to just recreate a scene from the movie. I want this to feel more like a stylized, living painting.
An homage that represents the subjective experience of leaving reality. I'm thinking I'm going to ditch the more utilitarian style phone booths from the movies and go with something a little bit more playful.
I want this to feel a little absurd. Kitsch. Maybe make it a vibrant electric pink. It should feel kinda alien to the street it's sitting on. The action is simple. The phone rings, I answer it. And that connection is the trigger. The moment the receiver touches my ear, the structure fails. The glass, the metal, the paint, it all begins to disintegrate and blow away into the wind. Simultaneously, the world around me needs to shut down too. The city, the lights, the noise, they all fade into a deep, infinite black void, leaving me floating in nothingness.
So, to make the effect of the phone booth dissolving, we're going to create a particle simulation. So to achieve that, we basically tell the software to stop treating the object like a solid block and instead using its shell as a volume to fill with millions of particles. As an example, in my hand, I'm holding a bunch of sand. Think of my fist as a shell or a container for the 3D model. Inside, I've packed millions of particles, and as long as the container's closed, it looks like a solid object. But the moment I tell the software to hide the container, the illusion becomes fragile. The particles are just sitting there waiting for a force.
But I don't want them all flying off at once, so I create an invisible trigger field. Think of it like a 3D scanner. I animate this field moving downwards, and I tell the particles stay put until the scanner touches you.
Once the movement looks right, I bake the simulation for a smoother playback in the future.
I've been staring at this render for nearly 3 hours, and I have to be honest, I hate it.
Okay, so I think I figured out why the render doesn't feel right. I was trying to capture the subjective experience of exiting the simulation through a surreal lens. However, simply fading the background out doesn't evoke that sense of artificiality. Instead, what I'm thinking I could do is project the camera view of the city onto a flat curtain and have it fall and flutter to the ground like a stage backdrop. Because what is a stage if itself not a simulacrum? And to bring the loop full circle, I'm thinking we could do a wireframe, LiDAR style reboot that glitches the world back into existence.